Today we're taking on a subject that, well, it often feels like something out of a techno thriller, doesn't it? But it's very much impacting our real world. We're talking about the intricate and, frankly, often wild domain of cybersecurity.
It really is. It's a field just brimming with incredible stories, sometimes, almost unbelievable ones.
Right.
From these deeply personal nightmares people go through to really high-stakes geopolitical maneuvers. It all just highlights this constant unseen battle being waged in our digital lives, like every single day.
Absolutely. So we're going to pull back the curtain on the audacious tactics of hackers, the unexpected vulnerabilities we all face, and maybe most importantly, the crucial steps you can take to protect your digital identity.
Yeah, our mission today is basically to give you a shortcut. A shortcut to understanding the cutting edge of cyber threats. Everything from the most elaborate, complex heists down to the deceptively simple mistakes that can cost us really dearly.
Okay.
So get ready for some genuine aha moments and definitely a few whoa moments too.
Okay, let's unpack this then. And, to really grasp the gravity of this world, let's start with a scenario that is it's a digital nightmare. Imagine logging into a platform that basically defines your professional identity, like LinkedIn.
Right. The main one for many people.
Exactly. Losing your LinkedIn history is like losing your entire resume, your network, your reputation overnight.
Exactly.
The real aha here isn't just, change your password. It's recognizing that our entire professional, even personal legacy lives online now. And a single lapse can fundamentally just challenge our digital identity. Makes you think, what does that mean for how we even construct our online selves, especially when so much of our career is tied to it?
Let's pivot a bit to a threat many of us encounter almost daily, this pervasive art of digital deception, phishing and social engineering.
Oh, yeah. These are incredibly prevalent, aren't they?
Yeah.
They prey on our everyday anxieties or desires.
Totally.
We've all seen them, like the "you've reached your storage limit" emails.
Classic.
Claiming to offer more space for your loyalty, but, I just need a credit card verification. Or the texts about an unpaid toll bill, even if you know you autopay.
Or the package delivery scams, UPS, Amazon notifications.
They're everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I even heard about a seemingly harmless Prime membership deletion email causing, actual arguments between couples.
Yeah, I can believe it. They work because they skillfully play on urgency and these really common anxieties, right? Fear of losing data, worry over bills, maybe excitement about a package.
Exactly.
But what's truly fascinating and kind of scary is how far these scams can go. The real lesson here, I think, is that security isn't just about firewalls and encryption software. It's deeply about understanding human behavior, anticipating curiosity, laziness, or just people being helpful, and finding those small, overlooked cracks in any system, physical or digital.
That makes sense. Okay, let's transition now from these audacious physical intrusions to the purely digital battleground itself. Starting with something really pressing. Zero-day exploits. What exactly is that?
Okay, so a 0 day is literally the day a software company releases a patch to fix a security problem they found in their product, like Windows or Chrome or iOS.
Okay, catching a hole sounds like a good thing.
It is a good thing for users who patch quickly, but here's the catch. The moment that patch is released, it also essentially announces the existence of that vulnerability to everyone else on the planet.
Including the bad guys.
Exactly. Every intelligence agency, every ransomware group, every hacker out there immediately knows, aha, there's a hole in the latest version of X software. And that kicks off this frantic race. They immediately start trying to exploit that newly revealed hole before people have time to install the patch.
So if you're listening, that's why it is so absolutely critical for you to update your software immediately. The moment updates are available, you need to patch on 0 day because the adversaries are already racing to get in through that door before you can lock it.
Precisely. The lecture cited some pretty stark statistics. For instance, over a period of just 283 days, there were 62 0-day exploits discovered for Windows and 37 for Google Chrome.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. And think about how many of us conduct financial transactions, log into sensitive accounts using potentially vulnerable browsers without even realizing that this race against time is happening in the background.
Yeah, that's a sobering thought. And what about passwords? We're always told to make them complex, right? Does that still hold up?
Well, this is another area where things are changing fast, and maybe the common advice isn't keeping up. The profound takeaway here is that the old, complex password advice, 8 characters, mix of upper, lower, numbers, symbols. It's rapidly becoming, well, almost a relic.
Really?
The sheer speed, especially with AI acceleration now, with which passwords can be cracked today is just astonishing. Simple number-only passwords, cracked in nanoseconds. Even that complex 8-character password we all try to use. Modern cracking rigs can potentially break that in about 7 hours, sometimes less.
7 hours for a complex one.
Yeah. So relying solely on password complexity is basically like relying on a ticking time bomb. It's just not enough anymore.
So what are services doing about that? Banks must know this.
Oh, they absolutely know. That's why you see banks limiting the number of login attempts you get before locking your account. And it's why they're increasingly implementing unsolicited two-factor authentication.
Unsolicited? What do you mean?
Like, you might notice PayPal sometimes sends a verification code to your phone, even if you haven't specifically opted into 2FA for every login. They're proactively adding that layer because they know passwords alone aren't foolproof.
Okay.
And here's a really crucial tip for everyone listening. If you ever receive a 2FA code on your phone or email, and you didn't just try to log in somewhere yourself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. It almost certainly means someone else has your password and is actively trying to access your account right then. You need to immediately change your password, check your account activity.
Good tip. What about just using public Wi-Fi, like at Starbucks or a hotel? Is the snooping threat real?
Oh, it's absolutely real. There are open source snooping apps readily available that can actually mirror your screen if you're on the same unsecured public Wi-Fi network. They do it by intercepting the unencrypted web traffic, the HTML.
Yikes. So they can see what I'm typing, what websites I'm visiting.
Potentially, yes, if the connection isn't properly secured. Now, HTTPS, that little padlock icon in your browser bar, helps a lot. It encrypts the data between your browser and the website, making it unreadable to eavesdroppers on the network.
Okay, so always look for the padlock.
Definitely. But the problem is, surprisingly, many sites still aren't fully HTTPS secure, or parts of them might not be. And even simple things matter, like those password dots that hide your characters as you type. They're a basic countermeasure against someone literally looking over your shoulder or shoulder surfing, but often overlooked.
Right. And what about using those public computers, like in a hotel business center or a library?
Ah, yeah, that's a big risk, especially for sensitive stuff like online banking. The real danger there is keyloggers.
Keylog.
Malicious software, or sometimes even tiny hardware devices that can be secretly installed on those public machines to record every single keystroke you make. Passwords, account numbers, personal messages, everything.
Okay, note to self. Avoid banking on library computers.
Definitely a good rule. And let's not forget purely physical threats, too, like card skimming.
You mean at gas pumps and ATMs?
Exactly. Criminals place these discrete devices over the real card slot to steal your credit or debit card information when you swipe or insert your card. They're often found at gas pumps, sometimes even in seemingly safe, high-end areas, because people might be less vigilant there.
It feels like threats are coming from every direction, physical, digital, social.
They really are. Which brings us to maybe the highest stakes category. Major ransomware attacks and these devastating supply chain disasters. These have crippled huge industries, cost companies literally millions, sometimes billions, and they show the profound economic and social impact these attacks can have.
The Colonial Pipeline attack is probably the most famous recent example, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was huge. Hackers got into their systems, locked everything up with ransomware, and demanded $25 million in Bitcoin. Apparently, some of these sophisticated ransomware gangs have surprisingly good customer support to help victims decrypt their files once the ransom is paid. It's almost darkly humorous, isn't it? If the situation wasn't so incredibly severe.
It really is bizarre. That's wild. Okay, so ransomware is one massive threat. What about these supply chain attacks? How do those work?
Supply chain attacks are particularly scary because the vulnerability gets introduced much earlier in the process, either during manufacturing or software development. It's not attacking the end user directly, but poisoning the well, so to speak.
Okay, give me an example.
A chilling software example involved SolarWinds and Kaseya. These companies make IT management and security software used by thousands of other businesses and government agencies. Hackers managed to insert malicious code directly into the legitimate source code of the software before it was distributed.
So the malicious code went out hidden inside legitimate updates.
Exactly. It created hidden backdoors in all the systems that installed the update, including critical systems like parts of Microsoft Azure. And these backdoors remained undetected for months, allowing widespread spying and access.
That's terrifying.
A nightmare scenario.
Okay, so faced with all this ransomware, 0 days, supply chain attacks, what are the key countermeasures? What actually works? What lessons have been learned?
Well, number one, especially against ransomware, fast, reliable, and tested backups are the ultimate defense. It sounds basic, but it's critical.
Why fast?
Because if your systems are down and restoring from backup will take days or weeks, the pressure to just pay the ransom to get back online quickly becomes immense. As companies like Colonial Pipeline found out, if your backups are slow or ineffective, paying often becomes the only viable business decision, unfortunately.
Makes sense. What else?
AI-driven security systems are becoming increasingly important. Tools like those from CrowdStrike, for example. They use artificial intelligence to monitor network activity constantly. They can detect suspicious behavior, like the mass file encryption that happens in a ransomware attack, and isolate the affected machines immediately before the damage spreads across the entire network.
Automated detection and response.
Exactly. Speed is key. And then there's the human element, again, the profound risk of insider threats.
Right, you mentioned that earlier.
Think about it. A relatively low-paid network administrator, maybe making $30 an hour, who has deep access to critical systems. What if they're approached by an intelligence agency or a ransomware group offering them millions of dollars to simply plug in a malicious USB drive or install some software?
That's a huge vulnerability.
It is, and it happens. This is why the principle of separation of duties is so absolutely crucial in any organization. The person who manages the network infrastructure should not be the same person who manages the security systems.
Why is that separation so important?
Because if the same person controls both, they could easily disable security alerts or firewalls temporarily to allow an attack, either one they conduct themselves or facilitate for an outsider, to succeed without triggering alarms. You need checks and balances.
Okay. And what about for individuals if someone gets hit with ransomware on their personal computer?
For individuals, the going rate for ransomware is often much lower, typically around $400 or so. They target volume, but the ultimate countermeasure is the same as for businesses. Diligent backups.
Backup everything important.
Everything. Your photos, your schoolwork, your sensitive files. Keep backups offline or in a separate cloud account. If you have solid, accessible backups, you're never forced into that horrible decision of whether or not to pay criminals to get your own data back.
Yeah. And I guess the final lesson is humility, right? Remembering that LinkedIn story.
Yeah.
Even experts, people immersed in this world, can get burned by a simple oversight, like not changing a password after a known breach.
Absolutely. It serves as a powerful reminder for all of us. Complacency is the enemy. We all need to stay vigilant, update our stuff, use strong, unique passwords in 2FA, back up our data, and just be generally skeptical of unsolicited requests or weird links.
Wow. Okay. What subtle vulnerabilities might you be overlooking right now in your own digital life? Or maybe even within your organization? What small, unexpected entry points could just be sitting there, waiting to be exploited, maybe right under our noses?
That's the question to ponder. And really, this deep dive is just the beginning, isn't it? It's about starting that journey into being and staying well-informed in this constantly shifting landscape.
Absolutely. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep exploring.